Okay, get this right. We're talking goldfish.
Goldfish.
Yeah, I know. Everyone's seen them swimming in their little bowls. But seriously, there's way more to these guys than meets the eye. We're going deep today using this book, The History and Fascinating Facts About Goldfish. Get ready to be surprised.
Oh, absolutely. Buckle up because we're talking ancient dynasties, scientific discoveries, even famous paintings, all thanks to the goldfish.
See? Told ya. All right, so let's rewind to the beginning. Where did these golden wonders even come from?
Believe it or not, we got to go back to ancient China, but we're not starting with anything shimmery. Think murky waters, kind of dull-colored dot carp, Prussian carp to be exact.
Hold on, from carp to goldfish. That's quite the glow-up. How'd that happen?
So picture this, right? Tang Dynasty in China. People start noticing these carp, but some of them, they've got these weird but kind of cool mutations, golden, yellowish. Definitely not your average carp.
Okay, so they're eye-catching, but what's the big deal?
Think about it. In a culture obsessed with luck and all things lucky, these vibrant colors, they were just pretty. They were practically swimming good luck charms.
Ah, so that's when the obsession really started.
Big time. The Tang Dynasty went wild for goldfish. And we ain't talking just bowls. Think elaborate ponds, entire gardens, all designed just for these fish.
Wait, seriously, a whole garden just for a fish? That's next level.
Oh, totally. It was a status symbol, pure elegance, you know. Showed off how in tune you were with nature, how prosperous you were. The whole shebang. And get this goldfish love. It didn't stay put in China.
Oh, I bet it made its way over to Japan. I can just imagine the intricate details, the whole Zen vibe.
Bingo. Around the 1500s, goldfish hit Japan, and let me tell you, if the Tang Dynasty was about discovery, the Japanese, they made it an art form.
Okay, I'm hooked. Tell me everything.
So we're talking even more unique breeds. The Ryukin with that cool arch back, yeah, that was them. Or the Tamasaba, graceful flowy fins, prized possessions, they were.
It's mind-blowing how selective breeding can do that, shape a whole creature. But looks aside, how were they viewed in Japanese society? Like, were they just pets?
Oh, they were way more than just pets. Think status symbols, displayed in these gorgeous bowls, celebrated in festivals. There's even this thing called kinyo sukuri. Basically, you try to scoop them up with these super thin paper nets.
Sounds kind of stressful, honestly.
It's all about skill and patience, a real tradition. But the point is, goldfish weren't just a fad. They were woven into the very fabric of Japanese life.
It's amazing how something so, I don't know, seemingly simple can have that kind of impact.
Right.
But speaking of variety, we got to talk about all the different goldfish breeds. I mean, talk about a glow-up. There are some crazy cool ones out there.
Right. It's wild. We're talking centuries of natural selection, careful breeding, and a whole lot of human preference, all mixed into one fishy package.
Okay, for instance, there's those orandis, the ones with those big old growths on their heads. Like, are they wearing helmets? What's going on there?
Yeah.
And don't even get me started on the black moors. With those telescope eyes, they look like they can see into the future or something.
You see, you get it. And we can't forget the lion heads, right? Flowing manes, no dorsal fin, total mini lions of the sea, each one weirder and honestly more beautiful than the last.
It really makes you appreciate the whole evolution thing. Speaking of, we got to address the elephant in the room, or the goldfish in the bowl, I guess you could say. The 3-second memory myth. Come on, spill the tea. Is it true?
If only they could talk, right? That's one myth they'd set straight themselves.
So what's the truth? Are they swimming in a constant state of, what was I doing again? Or is there more to these little guys?
Get ready for a reality check. Because goldfish, they actually remember things for months.
Months. You're telling me they're not just bouncing around forgetting everything every few seconds?
No, not even close. They remember shapes, sounds, even their owners. There's this study, right? They trained goldfish to associate feeding time with a certain time of day. If that's not proof of brain power, I don't know what is.
Wow, I'm shook. So basically, we've got all these tiny Einsteins swimming around, completely underestimated by, well, everyone.
It really makes you think about how we view animals, doesn't it? Just because they don't learn like us doesn't mean they're not smart.
So true. Okay, but back to the practical stuff. Let's talk about goldfish bowls, because I'm sensing some misconceptions there. Growing up, that's all I ever saw, but something tells me it's not exactly a goldfish paradise.
You're right on the money with that one. Those bowls, cute maybe, but definitely not doing any favors for the goldfish living in them.
All right, so real talk. How much space do these guys actually need? What's the goldfish equivalent of a mansion?
Think bigger. We're talking at least 20 gallons of water for just one goldfish. And if you've got a group or, one of the fancier, bigger breeds, even more. They need space to swim, explore, be fish, basically.
20 gallons. Wow, suddenly that little bowl seems awfully cramped, like asking us to live in a closet.
Not quite the same, but you
Sure.
get the picture. These guys are active, curious, and they need the space to prove it.
Got it. Ditch the bowl, go big or go home. Any other goldfish myths we need to debunk while we're at it?
Oh, for sure. One big one is the whole cold water thing. Sure, goldfish can handle different temperatures, but sudden changes. Stressful, man. Imagine being thrown into a cold shower out of nowhere.
Yeah, no thanks. I wouldn't be too happy about that either.
Exactly. They need a stable environment to be their best selves.
So basically, treat them right. I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Yeah.
But okay, we've covered a lot. History, intelligence, even those sweet digs they deserve. But our source says there's even more to the story. Apparently, goldfish have made their way into science and art. Now, that's something I didn't expect.
You better believe it. These guys are more than just pretty faces. They've made quite the splash in both those worlds.
Okay. Color me intrigued. What makes them so special for science, though?
Well, for one, they're pretty low maintenance in a lab setting. But the real kicker, that brain power we talked about, it's a goldmine for research on learning, memory, the whole shebang.
So they're helping us unlock scientific secrets. It's amazing.
Totally. They've been used to study everything from how animals adapt to different environments to the effects of stress. Who knew goldfish could be such valuable research subjects, right?
Right. Talk about a hidden talent. But, okay, art. What's the deal there? How do goldfish go from fishbowl to canvas?
Have you ever just watched a goldfish swim? It's kind of mesmerizing, isn't it? That tranquility, the vibrant colors, the graceful movements. It's no wonder artists are drawn to them.
Yeah, okay, I can see it. But give me an example, like a famous one.
Have you ever seen Matisse's work? He has this whole series of paintings all about goldfish in bowls, the way he captures the light, the water, those shimmering scales. It's incredible.
Wait, Matisse, as in the famous Matisse. I've seen those. The colors are incredible. But I never thought about it that way, you know? Like, what was he trying to say with those goldfish?
That's the beauty of art, right? Everyone interprets it differently. But Matisse, he was all about using color and simple shapes to evoke emotion. And for him, those goldfish, they represented peace, tranquility, finding beauty in everyday moments.
Wow, deep. It's amazing how one little fish can have such different meanings across cultures, even across time periods. We've seen it with the Tang Dynasty, the Japanese, even now with Matisse.
And that's just the beginning. There's a whole world of goldfish out there just waiting to be explored.
It just goes to show, right? Never judge a fish by its bowl. But okay, back to Matisse for a sec. We were talking about those goldfish paintings, and I gotta know, was there something special about how he painted them?
Oh, absolutely. Matisse, he was all about color and shape. Like, he wasn't afraid to simplify things, make them a little more abstract to get his point across.
So not super realistic then.
Exactly. He used these bold colors, simple shapes, to capture the feeling of the goldfish, the water, that sense of peace.
Interesting. So it wasn't about painting a perfect goldfish. It was about painting the feeling of a goldfish.
Nailed it. And get this, some people think those goldfish paintings, they were like a reflection of Matisse's own life. When things were messy, the paintings got more abstract, almost like the goldfish were disappearing.
Whoa. So there's like a whole other layer of meaning there. Makes you think, right? Okay, but our source says Matisse wasn't the only one drawn to goldfish. Apparently, they pop up in art from all over the place. What else is out there?
Oh, tons. You got to check out traditional Chinese art. They love goldfish, especially in those ink paintings. Often they're swimming with lotus flowers, symbolizing wealth, good fortune, that kind of thing.
Wow, that's so different from Matisse, right? It's like the same fish, but a whole different vibe depending on who's doing the painting.
Totally. And in Japan, forget about it. Goldfish are everywhere. Woodblock prints, fabrics. They're obsessed with those flowy fins, that effortless movement. Kind of like those fancy koi fish you see in ponds.
Oh, yeah. Those are gorgeous. Okay, so we've covered art, science, but I got to ask, with all this talk of selective breeding, is there an ethical side to this? Like, have we messed with these guys too much trying to make them prettier and prettier?
That's the million-dollar question, right? And honestly, it's a conversation more and more people are having, especially goldfish lovers. It's great to appreciate all the cool varieties, but at the end of the day, the fish's well-being has got to come first.
So it's about finding a balance, between appreciating their beauty, but also making sure we're not hurting them in the process.
Exactly. For instance, some of those breeds with the super short bodies, or the ones with the bulging eyes, they can have some serious health problems because of those exaggerated features.
Oh, man. So as goldfish owners, we got to do our homework, make sure we're not contributing to that
Well,
fight.
absolutely. Think of it like this. We're not just goldfish owners, we're caretakers. It's our job to make sure they're thriving, not just surviving.
Well said. It's a good reminder for any pet, really. Okay, so we've talked history, intelligence, even ethics. This deep dive has been seriously eye-opening, and I feel like I owe Goldfish an apology. You know, it's funny, right? We started with these simple little fish, but this whole deep dive, it's kind of got me thinking about how we see the whole world, you know? We make assumptions, but when we actually take the time to look closer, turns out there's always more to the story.
Couldn't have said it better myself. It's all about staying curious, being open to new information, because honestly, the more we learn about nature, the more we realize how much we don't know.
True that.
Hmm?
So as we wrap up this goldfish adventure, what's the biggest takeaway you hope listeners, really remember?
Honestly, just a newfound respect for these guys. They're not just some boring pet shop staple. They've got history, they've got brains, they've even inspired artists for centuries.
Talk about a reminder that there's wonder everywhere, right?
Yeah.
Even in the most unexpected places.
100%. And speaking of unexpected, I hope listeners walk away remembering that even those tiny goldfish, they deserve our respect, you know? We got to do right by them. Whether it's ditching the bowl for a bigger tank or doing our research before we buy, every little bit counts.
It's about being responsible,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Recognizing that we share this planet with all kinds of amazing creatures.
Exactly.
Well, on that note, this has been amazing. Seriously, I've learned so much about goldfish. Who knew they were so fascinating? Thanks for being our guide.
Anytime. Always happy to talk about these little guys. They've got a special place in my heart.
And to our listeners, we hope you enjoyed this deep dive as much as we did. Keep those brains swimming, and we'll catch you next time.